So we are talking about hemophilia, right? This is a hemophilia pedigree. So right away, who do we know for sure? All the boys, first of all, and then the shaded female. What's the shaded female, first of all?
H, little h, well, X.
Oh, I'm gonna be so mad. That works. Better. Yeah. X. You said little h?
Yeah.
X little h. X little h. Good. We know her. How about shaded males? X little hy means male with hemophilia. So X little hy. X little hy. Cool. And then males who are healthy. X big hy. Males show exactly what they have, just like real life. Big hy. X hy. Okay. What now? Those are all the ones we know right off the bat. Where can we go from there? Who can we figure out based on, well, I guess especially based on the ones with hemophilia. Reagan?
I think the mom is big H, little h.
The top mom?
The top mom.
Matriarch? Well, you think she's big H, little h? Why do you think that?
Because I think the daughter would have had to inherit the little h from her in order to have hemophilia.
The daughter who has hemophilia. The son also has hemophilia. Now, what did the son get from dad? The son got the Y from dad, right? That's what made him a son. So where did the X little h come from? Had to come from mom. So the daughter tells us, but so does the son. Even without the daughter, we know, because of the son, we know mom. First of all, she doesn't have hemophilia, so she's big H, but she had a son with hemophilia, so she's little h. And yes, little h and little h here came together here, so that tells us the same thing. Good. Riley.
Would the mom on the all the way left second row be big H, big H?
Well, she's big H because she's healthy. Why are you calling her big H, big H?
Because neither of her kids have the hemophilia. I feel like they would have gotten a little H from the dad, maybe.
So, 2 kids, and, well, okay, this one, yeah, so this kid is big H because she doesn't have hemophilia. And from dad, what did she get? Got the little h from dad, because that's all he's got to give his daughters. So we know her. I don't know that 2 kids is enough here. I mean, yeah, she had 2. She had 2 without hemophilia. We actually go with about 8. It takes about 8 kids to not have it for us to say big H, big H.
So would it be H's question?
Yeah, this is one of our question marks. There's one. Good? What else do we know?
The 2 daughters from row B would be big H, little h.
These daughters?
No.
These daughters
Yeah.
would be big H because they're healthy. And then because where did that other X come from? Yeah, dad gives a daughter his only X, and his only X has little h, so they got it. So these are carriers for sure. Yep. Good. Whole second row is done. Let's move down to the next one. Can we tell anything about these two ladies? Riley.
Big H.
Yep, we know they have a big H because they don't have hemophilia.
And then would they be double big H because they've got the big H from the dad, or would it be question mark?
Well, they definitely got a big H from the dad. But then mom's 50-50, right? She got a 50-50 shot of giving the big or the little. That's, yeah, we don't know. That's two more question marks. So now we're up to 3 of our 7 question marks. What else you got? Hmm.
For the very last row on the far left,
You said?
yeah, for the female, the first female, I put X capital A for capital
So they're healthy. So they get the capital. Mom was for sure a carrier. So she had a 50-50 chance of giving him the big or the little H. Dad definitely gave the big H. But we don't know what she gave them.
Mom.
Huh? Oh, sorry. Yeah, this mom married in. My bad. This mom, she's healthy. We don't know. Yeah, we have no way of knowing what she is. So she's a question mark. And if we don't know what she is, we for sure don't know what they are. And this isn't enough kids to really tell us. So we've got more question marks here. Question mark here. Question mark here. And we're up to 6 with 2 ladies left. Brady?
Is that circle down here for yeah, that one? Is that her last question mark one?
Well, let's see. We know mom has a big H. Looks like dad has a little H though. What does dad give a daughter? It's the X. Yeah. So this girl being healthy but having a dad with hemophilia means she's a carrier. We know her. We don't know her. She married in. Yeah. So here's our last question mark. Yep.
You were trying to create Alabama with the other one.
Alabama.
With the dad and then the sister. With the brother and the sister, and you're saying that for the kids.
Okay. Although I do have that pedigree of the royal families of Europe because that's what they did, right?
Nice.
Yeah, because divine right goes through bloodlines, so you can't marry outside. That's where hemophilia literally came from. Yeah. So when you're ready for a big pedigree, I'll give you that
Oh, yeah.
one. Good one. It's not that hard. Questions about this? This is all there is to it. It's just working backwards, upwards and downwards from known people and figuring out, okay, well, they had to get this from mom and this from dad, and it's the next step from Punnett Squares. That's all. You guys okay? Okay. Well, then let's learn something new. This one's maybe a little more useful than hemophilia, although I guess we should talk real quick about baldness, huh?
Mr. Pedro,
Yes.
is our homework gonna be just on this page, or are you gonna give us?
Yes.
Oh.
Both. Baldness, let's just say X big B is hair. X little b is no hair. And this is you, gentlemen. And Here's your parents. Who matters? Your mom. Your dad doesn't enter into the equation at all because he gave you his wife. So you want to look at mom, except your mom's not bald.
Yeah.
She's got at least one big B. She's got an X big B, but you don't know what her other X is.
No, no.
So who do you want to look at?
Grandfather.
Your mom's dad. And if you're, I didn't plan this very well, but if your mom's dad, this is terrible. If your mom's dad is bald, what does that mean?
You're both.
No. It means your mom
A little bit.
has one little B. So what are your odds of going bald? Yeah, it's a 50-50 shot whether you got the big B or the little b. Wait about 7 or 8 years and we'll find out. But assuming your mom's dad had a full head of hair, the odds go down. They're still not zero, right? Because your grandma also could have been a carrier and given your mom a little b. Quite possible. So you can also go back 2 steps and look at your grandma's dad. Gives you another, few percentage points. But yeah, that's how it works. It's not your dad's fault if you go bald. Okay? Good. So that's at least somewhat practical. Let's move on to our next. Actually, this is 2 non-Mendelian patterns. Codominance is one. Codominance is when neither allele is actually dominant. This is notes. Grab your notes. Neither allele is dominant, and if you are heterozygous, you show both traits at once. Classic example is with color. For example, in certain flowers, if there's a red color flower allele and a white color flower allele, and the plant has a heterozygous genotype, what you get is red and white speckled flowers.
Bald, but
Like happy hair?
yeah.
Maybe. It's not how hair works. Works with colors. But it also works with this next trait. It's really the only trait we're going to use codominance with. But we're also going to throw in a second pattern that is true of this trait, which is that sometimes there's more than just 2 alleles to choose from. You still only get 2, because you get one from mom and one from dad. But there exist more than 2, and that is the case with this trait we're about to follow. It's called multiple alleles. And in this case, it turns out there's 3. The trait that we'll be looking at, the gene that we will be looking at in humans that follows both multiple alleles and codominant is blood types. A, B, O blood groups. Yes, Rod?
Codominance and multiple alleles.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the exact name for the disease is, but is that why some people of color have the white skin and the dark?
I don't really know what that is. We should look that up. It has to do with melanin, I'm sure,
Yeah.
which is the thing that makes skin colored. Yeah. Okay, so blood types, right? You know about blood types, kind of? Why do we care? Why do we give a crap about blood types, Armani? Why would you need a blood transfer?
Yeah.
What's that for?
We need
someone else's blood.
Why would you need someone else's blood?
You.
That'd be sick.
I got a blood transfusion.
What for?
My anemia was really bad, so I had to get iron, like, in my body.
So you were low on hemoglobin, likely, right, which is in red blood cells. So they needed to actually transfuse someone else's blood cells into your body, which is cool that you can do that. That's a less common example. More common is like car accident, like trauma, like injuries where you lose a lot of blood and you could die. Well, what's the quickest way to fix that? Give you someone else's blood. However, you know that you have this crazy awesome like roving pack of commandos in your bloodstream, right? The white blood cells, your immune system, basically looking for anything that has the wrong, what do we call them? What is it? Marker proteins, good. Wrong marker proteins on its cells that it can identify as not us, and it kills those cells, right? Well, that includes blood cells. What's lucky about our blood is that the red blood cells, the most common cells and the ones that the immune system would key in on, only has two marker proteins that are important. Two kinds of marker proteins. And we identify them as A proteins and B proteins, and there's only one gene that controls which ones you have. And it's this gene right here. And the gene basically has a type A variant. So that gene can say, hey, make type A proteins on the surface of the red blood cells. So that's one allele. But it turns out to be codominant with the B allele. Meaning, if you have two alleles that are the A and the B alleles, in other words, if you're heterozygous that way, which blood proteins do you have on the surface of your red blood cells? If you have the A and the B, and I said what codominant means, what do you have, Armani? You have both of them. Good. That's the codominant part. The multiple alleles part is that there's a third version of the gene. Right? You can have two A's and your type A. You can have two B's and your type B. You can have an A and a B and your type AB. But then there's a third version of the same gene. We call it O, but what it codes for is nothing. It codes for no blood protein. And it's recessive. You still only get two. You only get two of those three. But we now have more possible combinations, don't we? Yeah, type A people, maybe they're AA, but what's the other option for a type A person?
Isn't that like A positive and A?
Nope, not talking about positive, negative. They could be AO and they're still type A because the O doesn't change anything. The O is a code for nothing. So if you got one version that says code for A proteins and the other version that says don't code for anything, you're going to have A proteins on your blood. So yeah, your possible genotypes here increase. And here's the trick is your body reacts against the blood proteins you don't have. Your body makes what's called antibodies, little killer proteins that'll stick to blood cells that have that specific kind of blood protein and clot them up and basically stop your blood in certain places and make it very painful and possibly kill you. So you don't want to give someone the blood type in a transfusion that they make antibodies against, right? So this is critical. This is important. If you are OO, if that's your genotype, obviously, no blood proteins on your red blood cells, no marker proteins, sorry, on your red blood cells, and you're type O. AA and AO, like Reagan said, both type A. That means they have A marker protein on their red blood cells, not B. Also, two possibilities to give someone type B blood. That would be PB, right? And most people don't smell
Very nice.
very good. And then there's one left, right? This is the codominant part. Because these people don't have A or B marker proteins. These people have just A, these people have just B. And then if you're heterozygous AB, you got both. Just
Type A, B, mean people give the A and B.
so now let's figure out who can give to who. Can give to whom, I suppose. So if you're A, obviously you can give to type A, right? If you're B, you can give to type B. If you're A, you can't get blood from type B. If you're B, you can't get blood from type A. That makes sense to you, right? But let's think about O and AB because they're kind of special. Yeah,
O can give to anybody.
O doesn't have any blood marker proteins to react against. So blood banks love you if you're O, right? Because you can give type O blood to anyone. Now you do have to factor in, as Riley was thinking about the positive and negative, that's the RH factor. You got to make sure that's compatible too. But if it is, you're good. Type O negative is the one that you can give to anyone. So type O we call the universal donor. Tristan, type AB, you can't give it to everyone. In fact, you can only give it to type AB people. But if you're type AB, that means you have both kinds of blood proteins. You don't make antibodies against either of them, which means you can get blood from anyone you want. So they're what we call the universal recipient.
Bye.
All right, let's see what you can do with this. I'll hold off on assigning more problems than the one I gave you yesterday. But let's do this one, which is the real simple one and then a more complicated one.